You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices.
Hey everybody, this is Chad Johnson. Welcome to Everyday Practices. I'm here with Reagan Robertson. Reagan, how you doing today?
I'm doing peppery.
Wow, that's not even salty. It's like the opposite of salty.
That's right. I'm feeling spicy today, kind of like, not too spicy, not habanero level, but just, got a little pep in my step.
Mm-hmm. A little
Thanks
bear
for
spray.
asking.
A little bear spray. All right.
Yeah, a little bear spray.
So today we have Stacy Deemer with us, and Stacy is with Productive Dentist Academy. She is the client development specialist. Stacy, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
All right, so we need to start with something light. On your Facebook page, just this last week, I saw a picture of you killing it, and so tell me about your history with, weightlifting and how you got into such shape, because I won't spoil your story. Tell me.
Well, it was something my husband and I always started with martial arts, and with that, it really takes a lot of dedication, hard work, and perseverance, and knowing that it wasn't going to happen overnight. So one day we decided to do a 12-week fitness challenge, and it really made us focus much more with intention, from things we ate to really being intentional with our workouts, getting the most out of them. And at the end of the 12 weeks, we ended up with quite good results, I must say, even though we were in our 30s then.
Yes, it was.
Is that when that photo was? Was the photo after the 12-week program?
That was after the 12-week program.
You have to paint the picture, Chad, for our listeners, because they don't get the pleasure of seeing this photo.
Okay, so imagine yourself at a grocery store and you're checking out. No, hold on now. You said paint the picture. I'm painting the picture.
I did.
So you're at the grocery store, but you're not the first one to check out. So you're waiting in line. You see a Diet Coke. You think to yourself, I'm not going to do that because, Catherine would get on us for drinking Diet Coke. And so we wouldn't do that. Wait, what is this magazine? What does this magazine cover? Look at this hot couple all in their bikinis and swimsuit, all just looking all fine and toned. Wow, that's what it was. It was cover worthy. I was really impressed. I was just like, dang, I didn't know that about Stacy. So what?
I agree with that. I think it reminded me very much of my mom was a huge workout buff, still is, and in the late 80s, she used to do those TV aerobics shows.
Oh boy.
Remember? Well, they were so in shape too.
Did she have a thigh master?
She loves Suzanne Summers very much, but no, she never had a thigh master. She did Denise Austin's. I remember doing them with her on the floor, the big, you lay down and you do your little thigh crunches on the side, and then you'd flip and do your others. And then we had the big crunchy socks, and then the little tights, and then the leotard. I had leotard with her. We had matching leotards. So Stacy totally impressed me.
The little headband.
So Stacy, I want to know when you're working out, you said you've kind of got back into it a smidge more. What do you notice between your normal self versus your intentional self, your workout self, your better self? I would imagine
it's really planning your plan and working your plan. Without a plan, you don't know where you're going to go. You're just like, someday, maybe I'll work out.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get to the gym and I will work 20, 30 minutes. But if you go there with a plan, you're going to know that you're going to work your upper body and you're going to do so many sets and so much weight. You're really putting that intention behind your plan.
Yeah.
And then you're working it.
Well said, Stacy.
It's really gratifying then once you know that that's what you planned for the day and you accomplished it. So it really gives you that energy at the end of the day as well.
Do you find too that the more accountability that you have, the better as far as your plan?
Oh, absolutely. And then having an accountability partner like my husband, there are days that we all feel a little sluggish and could just use sitting on the couch. Now I live in Pennsylvania, so the snow's happening here all the time and it's cold.
Well, today I was running behind in clinical stuff as we got to lunch, and so my team went off to lunch, and I was filling out some screening forms with the patient, health history kind of stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I wasn't planning on eating lunch, and was planning just to fast through. Well, they had already ordered me tacos, and so I thought, well, listen, I mean, I can't turn down tacos. But my plan fell through, and the problem is they know me too well, and so I really didn't have a plan that I had accountability for everyone. But also the accountability is they knew that I was planning on coming, so they just ordered so that way I could stay on schedule and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of funny on both regards. It's cool and thoughtful that they came through for me, but at the same time, it's like, crud, I can't turn down tacos.
Nobody can turn down tacos, Chad. They got you.
Stacy, you historically had been 30 plus years of experience with the dental industry and whatnot, specifically like with pediatric and cosmetic dentistry. You've also done stuff as a launch manager, consultant, clinical educator, where you streamline programs that benefited dental offices across the nation. Can you tell me more about that and, kind of your history with that?
It's really become a deep-rooted passion. Dentistry has been in my blood, I think, since early on. I worked as an assistant at age 15. So watching how dentistry evolves and then taking it those steps further in those different, from pediatrics to cosmetic, it really all came down to working together as a team to get the outcomes we wanted. And oftentimes those outcomes didn't occur. If there was one system that was off or one department not flowing as easily, those days were a little more difficult. So as the years in dentistry went on, I found that my passion was really streamlining the systems within the practices, being able to work smarter, not harder. And I attribute a lot of that through always working out and lifting weights and being in the martial arts, knowing that having systems in place made that work-life balance easier.
To where you're just reacting the way you should, as opposed to thinking about how you should act. You're reacting.
Yes, absolutely.
As planned. Right.
As planned. And working as a team, being able to flow from the back to the front and the front to the back. And really having that patient experience it was so important. Getting that underlying cause of why that patient may be so scared or why they are having periodontal disease. And it's just so much more than that, always looking ahead to the next step. So not only did I work in cosmetic dentistry and pediatric dentistry, I did some temp work as well as I was transitioning out of being in clinical and into some of these other avenues of my life. And what it really brought to my attention was all offices are not running of full steam ahead. And there were a lot of negativity. There were a lot of barriers for these offices, and only being in there temporarily just really opened my eyes wider to if I could get out there and really work with one office at a time and support them to have that work-life balance, to be more streamlined, to have the systems in place, to be more efficient and effective, then we're not only helping our teams, but we're helping all of the patients that are out there getting services.
Hey, let me ask a question about that. Do teams ever arrive? I mean, what I want to know is, like, I've put systems into place and it makes me realize more, crud, I need to work on system X and Y and Z. And I wish I had time to develop that, but let's carve out some time to talk that through. And sometimes I think the most effective way to do that is to chase the problems, like, as opposed to saying, well, let's just start with the A and go to Z. And as opposed to just saying, okay, what's our biggest hole in the boat? And let's plug that hole. And then let's figure out, okay, and not problematically. I don't mean, that it's a problem like a running with your head cut off, but, you do want to address real problems that your team is having. But do you ever arrive? I'm asking this kind of mid-career. Do you ever see dentists go, wow, I'm glad those systems that I put in place 5 years ago have helped me achieve nothingness. Like my office is so smooth. Well, no problems. Like basically
an absence of problems.
Yes, absence of nirvana. Like basically a no problem zone. I mean, does that happen? Do few dentists achieve that, or no dentists achieve that?
Are you talking like everything is fine, we're good?
No, achieving the best, like where you like. It's almost a loaded question, because I when I ask it out loud, I almost think the answer should be no, but I wish that the answer were yes. That Chad, keep pursuing that, and probably in 2 years or 10 years or whatever, you'll get there. But maybe
Chad,
not.
I know that. I mean, Stacy's our guest, and she's had the opportunity to be in front of thousands of doctors. But I do have a little side note that might be helpful to that question. I just talked to one of our high producing doctors, amazing doctor. I am very inspired by him. I will keep his name under wraps though for confidentiality, although I bet he wouldn't mind sharing it at all. In fact, he'd probably come on as a guest, but he's high producer, consistently been a high producer for quite some time, and he started talking about getting to the next level, and always wanting to be on that next level. And what's interesting and what a surprise to him is that a team is a living entity. So you have new team members join, other team members leave, but also you have to consistently, in his mind, re-engage the team to keep them at that healthy level. So I think the answer to your question is a little bit fluid. It's that I don't think you get up to this point and then you're done. Yes. I think it's constantly moving, and you are shifting to accommodate with that. Stacy's nodding. So
absolutely,
Stacy.
Absolutely. Once they realize the possibilities, it opens up an endless stream of possibilities, because now you reach this goal. Well, what's next? If I can do that, and I thought before, how difficult was it going to get from point A to point B, and we did it, and we all lived. No one died. We got there. Well, what's the next step?
And now we have momentum on our side, and we trust each other. So would you liken it to gardening, where you plant some stuff, then you go, I bet if we were more purposeful about planting rows, we could get more out of this. And I bet if we tilled the ground softer, we could get a better yield. And I bet if we planted some shade trees that we could switch, so you're always gardening to perfection, but you might not ever reach it, even though other people might look at it and go, your garden's amazing. The master gardener says, yeah, but those roses over there, I was hoping to switch them out for this or that, or, they always have a plan, right? But do they ever reach it? I don't think they do. Even though it's closer to perfection, right?
Right.
Chad, you just made me think of a question. Really good question. Stacy, this might surprise you. So flow with me here.
Flow.
You've been ingrained in dentistry for so long. I love that you were a dental assistant from 15 on. My mom's career was being a dental assistant, and she loved it. She had a lot of passion around it. So my heart goes there. There's kind of two things that I see from what Chad said. There are the doctors that want to go up and get to that next level, and there's the doctors that are they're doing good. They're doing good. They're not great, and they're not really struggling, but they're in this place of complacency. And all the practices that you've worked with, are there some flags or some areas where you feel like dentists that you've talked with, they have been in that place of complacency, which can be a really dangerous place to be?
Absolutely. So when they're in that place of complacency, and they're in that for so long, and then it comes time for retirement, we've not done anything to prepare for that retirement or that next level, that exit plan or that exit strategy, or that fourth quarter of dentistry. And now they're really put into overwhelm and not knowing what to do. And that's a lot of weight for a dentist to wear. So it's so important to always be looking upstream and looking for what's ahead, even if it's 10 years out. And you've got to reverse engineer getting to that plan and think ahead, plan ahead.
Man, that really gets back to making the plan and working the plan, like you said, with regards to I didn't know that fitness was going to be our overarching theme, but it really applies well.
Neither did I, but it really is. It taught me a lot, and it's grounded me to realize that that's part of life, and to always look ahead and work your plan.
Do you ever broach that subject for the doctors that you're coaching, or do you let it come naturally if they bring it up or something? Do you ever, say, if you were 20 pounds lighter, your back wouldn't hurt? I mean, maybe not that crass or
Right.
whatever, but like, do you ever feel like broaching that subject or get to that subject that they trust you enough or you trust the relationship enough that you go there?
I do. And a lot of the weight that they're carrying are wearing so many hats. They're running a business. They're making sure every department is doing what they need to do, and they're micromanaging, and they have bills to pay and production to meet and collection to meet. And that weight alone is what they would love to shed.
Cool.
And once we get through that, and you start seeing them open up even more because they see the possibilities, and
That's right.
Their shoulders just kind of go like this. They just drop. It's like, oh my gosh, you've been here, you've done this, you've seen it, and now let's get to work.
And Stacy, how does that come out in a conversation with a dentist? And I want to set this question up for you a little bit. So I did a presentation last week. So I spoke in front of a room full of dentists, and we started talking about team incentive CE, like taking your team on a cruise, for example. And he raised his hand and very candidly said, I can't wait to get out of the office. And if I have to spend one more second with my team, that is the last thing I want to do. Now, the whole room was deathly silent for this. And he looked around, and then there was this like pregnant pause. And then he goes, I'm not alone in this, am I?
I can't believe laughter did not break out.
Right. No, it did not. It did not ring out. But to me, how I read into that was, no, one, you're not alone at all, and other people feel that way. And I wonder, Stacy, if part of that is you're taking on too much. You are really taking on too much. And me, as where I sit with PDA has grown so much, and it has, I'll be honest, it's not been easy for me to delegate. I tend to hang on to things because that's what I do. That's what I've done for the past few years. So it feels alien to let go. Once you get over that hump, though, and I had to have coaches myself help me get over that hump. Oh my gosh, it is like Valhalla, Chad. It's like, yes. Everything is lighter feeling, and the business is moving smoother. So do you hear things like that from doctors where they will say things in a roundabout way and it'll be like,
absolutely,
too much?
Absolutely. And why wouldn't they feel like they got to hang on to it all? Not only they're carrying the name of being a doctor, but and that always, for a lot of doctors, feel like, well, I've got to do it all. I've got to take it all on. This is my baby. This is my practice. I got to make sure it is producing, and I'm taking care of all of my team, my patients, my family at home. And so just letting them have that reassurance of giving a little bit at a time to their teammates. Empowering their teammates is going to elevate them, because when you give power to hygienists or assistants or your front office, you're setting them up for success, and that makes them happy in their role. And if they're happy in their role, it's going to make work-life balance, such a happy family atmosphere that trickles onto your patients because they feel it. Your patients love to come in because it's so light and airy and everybody's getting along, and it's not like rush. It's a much friendlier atmosphere. They don't feel that tension or stress.
Stacy, I want to get really serious here for a minute. You being from Erie, Pennsylvania, does lake effect snow affect the dental office's productivity?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that.
Not as much as you would think, though. I was always amazed that some of those patients, it could be 10 feet of snow, and they're there.
That's what my Dakota buddies say.
Yep.
They'll take pictures and they'll say, yep, my 7:00 patient's here. We have 20 inches of snow this morning.
I do have one more question, Chad, that I am kind of burning to know. I genuinely really want to know from Stacy. Stacy, you were on a really good explanation with regards to giving away some of that power to the team. And I had a thought in my head. So if I'm a dentist, I don't trust my team. I don't trust them to get it done. So what do? Do I replace the team? What do I do, Stacy?
Question. And what we want to start doing then is really looking at what the source is. Is that a deep-rooted seed that was planted a long time ago? And is it something that we can support on as far as training the leader? Because it's important to still be that leader and empower the leader, not us coming in and being the magic bullet, so to speak. And by you going first and you saying, okay, what's working maybe in the past has gotten us here, but in order for us to go here, I want to acknowledge that I see you as a team, and I want to start giving you the tools for you to be successful. And how we're going to do that is by partnering up with a coach. Many football teams or sports teams, they've got a coach, and they can't take it to their next level without having the expert behind them to lead them. So it's so important to really start looking at some leadership goals for yourself or as a doctor, if that is indeed a trust issue. Getting the team on the bus, getting them to trust again. Not, and that's a two-way street. It's a partnership. It's a communication.
Trust is important.
And without that, then you don't have a team. So it has to start with you as the doctor first.
Stacy, would you mind if the listeners had this, that you could answer any questions that people might submit regarding those kind of issues? Do you think that might be kind of fun if we got some listener engagement where they had a question about their team? I'd write you directly, Stacy, STACY at productivedentist.com. Would you mind, now that I've basically volunteered you?
I would love that.
That'd be cool. Thanks for increasing that value there. I appreciate it. Reagan always has another question along the lines of the importance of my lake effect snow. Reagan, do you want the honors of, yes.
You're going to give it to me?
I am.
Thank you. Stacy, a very important question. Answer it from the gut. Don't even think about it. Just answer. Okay?
Got it.
Bacon or eggs?
Bacon.
Stacy, thanks so much for joining us today, the Client Development Specialist for Productive Dentist Academy. I really appreciate you joining us for another episode of Everyday Practices.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with Everyday Practices.